Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored.
Well, hello, Dirty. How's it going? Good. I'm glad to hear that. You know, I'm sure it's been rough going through the holiday season when you can't be around your family. Did you have a good Christmas? Oh, good Lord, woman. How many of your friends are in there with you? 8. You had Christmas with 8 of your friends. Well, I guess on the bright side, you couldn't have done that out here. Yeah, I know. But nothing beats with your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers. Yeah. Well, okay. We have to look at the bright side. And you did get to spend time with some of your childhood friends. It's a shame, though, that all you guys are locked up like that. Is it all the same thing, drugs? Ugh. Okay. Theft. I guess it's all related to drugs or something then. We really need to work on getting you guys out. The hardcore criminals are the ones that need to be locked up in there. And because they're a danger to our safety and security out here. Those repeat offenders for assault and domestic violence, carrying weapons around and threatening people. They just need a timeout. Need to be put away for a little while. But people who are addicted to a drug and they're just desperate to get their hands on another drug and commit crimes just to get them, that's just cruel. But I would like to offer my condolences to the passing of your uncle. Were you close to him? What? You did not know? Oh, jeez. I thought you knew. I'm sorry. This is a terrible way to find out about that. No, I feel bad. I really thought somebody had already told you. Well, the police found his body in the doorway of his house. Yeah, the one on 1st Street. And apparently he was in a shootout with somebody. They haven't rounded up any suspects yet, but, neighbors said they heard an argument or something, some yelling, and then they heard some gunshots, and they called the police, and when they got out there, he was already gone. Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and no, they're not going to let you out for the funeral or anything. You're a convicted criminal. You're a bad guy. You shouldn't be out here. But, maybe I can get the program, some pictures or something, maybe some statements from some of your family, help you with your memories of them. Well, if you changed your diapers, you must have known them all your life. Yeah, well, that's odd, because if he wasn't heavily involved in crime, you just got to wonder what happened. Do you have any idea what he could have gotten involved with?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Okay, well, I'll do some research, talk to some friends and family, and see what I can come up with. I'm sorry that I told you like that. No, it's. I really should just kind of lead it off with, have you heard or did you know, something like that. But yeah, six of your family members died since you've been locked up. Jeez, and you missed them all.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
We got to get you out. We got to keep you out. Yeah, these are things you can never get back. Okay, young lady. Well, I'll be in contact. I'll send you some letters and stuff, maybe even a package. Take care of yourself. Okay, will do. Welcome to AQS Inmate Call. I am your host, Joel Wilborn. That was the lovely Darcy Mills, aka Dirty. She got caught up in some drugs and went back to prison. And, she spent a large part of her young life locked up. And it just breaks my heart, no matter what we do or say or try or where we go, she ends up back there. And I know some things out there can trigger her, something will help. It's just that she's got this void and nothing can fill it, and she's missed a lot of life. Babies being born, marriages, deaths. And so I think the best I can do is just try to bring the real world to her while she's locked up. Maybe get her closer to her siblings and get her family to visit. Because it's up to her. She's got to make that decision, And her close friends that I do talk to, the ones that have finally overcome these major obstacles in their way, they would say it's up to her. And you really can't argue with that. She's the one who's going to determine whether or not she stays in prison or she gets out and stays in the free world. Yet that does bring me to the subject of this particular podcast. And we lock folks up and we figure, you deserve this. You committed this crime, this is your punishment. And there's even some that go so far as to say if the people are abused in there, if they don't receive proper medical care, if they're not eating right, or if they're sitting in a cell that's just ice cold, or if they pick up, like now, COVID. This is all their fault because nobody forced them to get into the life of crime. Yet, I strongly support alternatives. I believe that people can be led in the right direction and get away from the life of crime. And look at it like this. We're spending thousands of dollars a day per inmate. Incarcerated people cost us money to keep them locked up. And with the young lady who was caught with drugs and dealing with drugs and addicted to drugs and, stolen property and trespassing, this isn't necessarily something that, if you found out that she lived next door to you, you would go into a panic. But there are people out there, who want to abuse their children or beat their spouses and steal your car, the first opportunity they can get. And they have reasons other than drug addiction. Some of them just are so traumatized in life that this is the only way they know to survive. And folks like that we reach out to and that fail to respond and that will cause harm to themselves or to others, I think they need to be in prison. And I think we need to pay to keep them in there. And I think we really need to invest in some rehabilitation, something that can, let's find out. What is it we can do to help you? And, maybe these people can get back out to society and never go back. Not to say they'll never commit a crime, but they won't be so violent that they have to be locked away. And so, when you look at Dirty, she's aware of all that she's missing in life. And yet, something compels her to continue. I visited her and I told her, I said, as far as being a criminal, you're terrible. You're a terrible criminal. Every time you commit a crime, you get caught and you go to prison. We laughed it off. But, that's pretty much her life story. Day in and day out, she's either committing a crime or contemplating committing a crime. And, I tried. I reached out to her, but there's only so much I can do. The best I can do now is just be there and keep her updated. Maybe get her to the point where she feels so bad that she's missing so much that she wants to make that effort to stay out of prison. Well, when you look at these stories, when you sit and talk to these folks and find out how their life went and how there was just nobody there when they needed somebody. There's a lot that we take for granted out here. Those of us who are happily married, if you come home from a bad day at work or you have an accident in the car, there's somebody that can give you a hug and sit and listen to you. Maybe massage your back or suggest that you watch a movie or go for a hike or maybe even go out to eat that night. Somebody who knows you so well that when you do feel down, you can be comforted. And we take that for granted. Dirty didn't have that growing up. She was bounced around. And maybe if we can try to make up for lost time, have somebody that she could call when she's down or when she feels miserable. I know there's times that I'll get a phone call and the person just wants somebody to talk to. And I'm happy to be there. And it's nice to end the call, on a positive note. And it doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't require a lot of my time. And it's very simple to do. You don't need a big, huge education to do it or background. Experience does help. The more you talk to, the easier it is to find what helps this person get through the moment. And sometimes just ask them. That'll do. So, I have some things that I work on to try to help folks. And mainly, I'll ask a person, what can we do to help you? What could you have done to prevent this from happening? What advice do you have for other folks? And I learn a massive amount of helpful information from just doing that simple thing. And it's really nice to be able to apply that and then give credit. It's like Dirty told me that if we would keep you busy, this could help you stay out of trouble. Instead, you get in trouble when you get bored. It's nice to be able to pass that on to somebody and then to have the person try that and not go back to prison. Staying busy. I know when Dirty was in work release, she had one job. And she said, this job is, I'm cleaning these hotels rooms and it's just so boring. I wish I had something else that I could do. And so I offered her, went out to the community and some other people said, yeah, we'll take her in. But the work release staff, the management over there, they didn't want her with two jobs. She had to stay, in the facility. And then she'd go out for one job to work for 8 hours and she had to come back. And so that was the system not really listening to her. We have these rules and they have to apply to everybody. We need to bend that a little bit. We need to modify stuff. We need to get the word out. Now, in the state of Washington, on January 1st, 2022, convicted felons are going to be able to vote. And I think that's a game changer because we need to listen to these folks. If somebody's running for office and they're strongly for long prison sentences and harsh punishments and doing away with any benefits and cutting the budget, we've got people out here who've been there, who've experienced this, who knows what it's like to be in the system, and they can vote against them. Or they can go out and speak out. And since these people want to be elected, they're going to listen to them because they're voters. They're no longer cast aside. Imagine driving down the road and getting pulled over by a police officer and receiving a ticket. You get a $150 fine. So you go to before the judge and you plead your case, and the judge says, okay, and cut your fine in half. Okay, so you think, all right, I was in the wrong, and I paid my fine. We're good. But imagine walking out and losing your right to vote, losing your lease, being evicted, or not being able to get a job or a license in a trade. Imagine that for the rest of your life because you were pulled over by a police officer and got a fine. You paid your fine. You should have that all cleared up. You did the wrong, you accepted it, the judge listened to your case, and you paid your fine. You paid the fine. Once those people serve their sentence, let's say they don't even get probation or parole, they serve their sentence and they walk out that prison, shouldn't we just say, okay, you did your time, you learned your lesson, we can assume that. Now get out there and get a job, get a place to live, take care of your family, and stay out of prison. But that's not what we do. It's like we set them up to walk out that door, and I can't get a job because I have this record. I can't get a license to be a plumber because I have this record. The ones we need to punish are the ones that's out here committing the crimes and they haven't been caught. If you have a small business and you walk up, you go to open it up in the morning and there's graffiti all over the wall. So you have a bunch of staff and volunteers and friends and stuff that clean up the graffiti, and then you're happy, and you guys go out and celebrate, and the next day there's graffiti on the wall. These are people that we need to look into because they're continuously committing a crime and they have no respect for anybody else. Not the ones that's locked up. Now, if they're sitting in prison, they're not putting graffiti on your walls. They're not breaking into your business. They're not terrorizing your streets. They're locked up. So let's concentrate on helping police officers. Let's inform them. Let's give them the necessary equipment and support to help us. And maybe we can, if people think that I'm going to get caught if I commit this crime and I'm going to be locked up for quite a while because it was a violent crime, maybe they'll think twice. Maybe this fear will cause them to be scared straight, so to speak. But that's just me, Well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you check out the Joel Wilborn YouTube channel and listen to incarcerated people. Just talk about the situation they're in now. And reach out to them. Listen to them. Take some advice from them. So go out. Have a fantastic day. And make wonderful memories for tomorrow.